All right, so I'm making this video because a lot of people have been reaching out and asking what makes Beauty Grow different than other marketing companies. How do I know it's going to work for me? And why is it different than any other kind of marketing I've done in the past? I'm going to start making more of these long form videos because I realized the reels, I can't really get any points across. It's more like brain rot at this point. So I don't really like making them. So I'm going to make these because um, it's just, I can actually get my point across. So the main thing that people ask is, how do I know it's going to work for me? I tried ads, it didn't work. That's the main gist that people are skeptical about. So that's what I'll be making educational videos on. The first thing is like the people that say I tried ads or tried Facebook ads, it didn't work. Tried Instagram or whatever, it didn't work. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this that is not offensive because that's not the thing I'm trying to do here. But you saying that I tried ads and it didn't work is like I tried getting more people to find out about my business and it didn't work. Like, what does it actually mean? Like saying marketing doesn't work doesn't actually make any sense. If more people know about your business, then more people can give you money. And so you'll make more money. And I have a belief that people who are successful in any domain, they just see reality more clearly. So if somebody makes more money than you, they have a different view of reality than you. Or if they're in better shape than you, they have a different view of reality in that domain than you do. And you're basically navigating your life in that domain with an incorrect or an incomplete set of information. Like, for example, there are people who still think that losing weight has nothing to do with calories, or they don't know anything about calories, and they think it's some kind of like magic supplement or pill, or it's only about genetics. Those things might play factors, but like for the most part, you know that it's about calories. And the same thing applies to business. There's people who think that when it comes to marketing, there's certain secrets and it's not just an input output equation, which it really is. One thing I want to say about Beauty Grow is we probably disqualify the most people, like percentage wise. Actually, I wouldn't even say probably. I'm pretty sure that we disqualify more people than any other company. And that's because I basically just cherry pick the clients that I know with at least 95% certainty that we're actually going to get results for them. So we only work with people who do the injectable services. And I've honestly never seen anybody else who actually does this. They pretty much all work with any med spa and they'll do any service for them. The problem here is that it takes so much work and so much time to be good at marketing a specific service and converting leads into bookings for that. So for context, when we're doing the injectables, all of our ad copy, all of our creatives, all of our scripts that our team uses on the phone, it's real people, it's not AI. All of our automations that get sent out as text, those are all centered around injectables. All of our landing pages too. So if we wanted to take on a new client to do a new service, we would now have to make new creatives, new copy, new landing pages, new scripts, new text automation sequences. It's so much work that I just don't do it. And I get DMs every single week, multiple of them, with people saying, hey, I know you don't do this other service. I know you only do injectables, but hey, let me be your guinea pig for, this new service. I've heard that so many times, and I'm always like, I'm good. We don't need another guinea pig because they don't realize how much work it takes to be good at one thing. Honestly, good is not even the right word because to get proficient at something like good enough that you can take calls for a service or like book appointments, you could probably learn that in a few hours, like 4, maybe 6 hours. You can get good enough. But I want to be the best company in the world. Like I want to have the best company in the world for Botox and filler. And so I'm not going to get that being distracted with everything else. And maybe one day we will do other services, but there's so many more clients that we could get for these services that there's no point doing that yet. And by the way, there's no real structure to this video, so I'll go back and forth in different tangents. But the first, I guess, point, if you want to call it that I was trying to make is that no other company just does the injectables because they can't say no to money now. Like if somebody says, hey, I'll pay you to do this other service, they're immediately going to say yes because they're so focused on the short term, right? So they'll take that money and then their team gets on the phone. And because that team has to memorize information about 20 different med spa services, they don't have any clue what they're saying on the phone. So they can't actually speak to that lead in a way that would address their goals correctly. So they can't really answer any deep questions about the products, the downtime, the swelling, migration, whatever questions that a lead might have. Obviously, they're going to have a consultation where the expert's going to answer those things, but it is nice to have someone who knows these things on the phone so they can do some kind of like mini consultation before the real consultation. And so many more leads are going to book when they hear that level of expertise on the phone. And so that's the first thing, is that we just do one thing, which is the injectables. So our depth of understanding around these services is just, it's way higher than anybody else. Another point too that I was making was how we disqualify so many of the people who apply to work with us. And I would say the main reason for that is they don't have enough injectables results on their profile. So a lot of people will reach out and they're just brand new to injecting, or they've been injecting for a minute, but their content, like, I don't think it would convert that well, because when it comes to injectables, it does take skill, at least if we're talking about lip filler. Whereas there's a lot of other services, like if you have some kind of machine, like a laser or a body contouring thing, like they just sit inside it, or like you put it on them and they get the result, right? Whereas with something like lip filler, it's technique. And so it's not as easy as just, hey, I do this thing, I'm going to market it, I'm going to get appointments. It's not as easy. So I noticed that, oh, we actually have to review so many of the clients' pages before working with them, because their work needs to be pretty good to actually convert from the leads. Because the first thing people do when they see your ads is they click on your page, see how good the work is. They'll probably check your reviews as well, and then they decide if they're going to opt into that ad. And that's the reason we disqualify so many people. And so going back to the point that I was making earlier about people who have success in a specific domain having a fundamentally different view of reality, the way this applies here is that if you have amazing work and amazing content that people already like and you market it, like, how could you not make more money? It just doesn't make sense to me. So it's all about inputs and outputs. And there's a few things that when you have them, well, it's not a few things, it's a lot of things, but there's a few big buckets of smaller things that when you have them all in place, you will get results. Like, it's not rocket science. So first of all, the work that you're marketing, obviously it has to be great. I know, like, it sounds obvious, but there are some people who, and it's not meant to be offensive, but they probably just new to injecting, or they've been doing it for a while, but they're doing repetitions, not iterations, meaning they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, but they're not looking at, okay, what did I do here that could be better the next time, right? So that's why some people, like, their business just grows like this after a year, whereas some people have been in business for 5 years and they're making less than someone who's been in business for 1 year. It's because one person is doing repetitions, the other person is doing iterations. It's a very different thing. You don't just repeat the same thing blindly over and over and over again with no feedback. It's like if you go to the gym and your form is bad and you keep doing the same thing with bad form, it's not just about the reps. Whereas if you correct your form, you're going to grow way quicker because you're doing it the right way. You're actually working the thing that's supposed to be worked. The same thing applies in business. I see people who are, oh, I've been injecting for this amount of years, I've done this amount of patients. It's like your work hasn't improved, or your content hasn't improved, or whatever you're trying to improve has not improved. So you need to look up, okay, I did 100 sets of whatever. I made 100 posts, or I treated 100 patients, or whatever the thing is, and what could I do better? Like, what was the top 10% outcomes in the thing that I did? How can I apply that to every single person next time? So, like, if you have a specific, let's say, a style of content, and you notice after 100 posts, the top 10% made you more money. It's kind of harder to track the revenue with content than it is with paid ads, but let's just use views for this example. I know that views does not translate to sales, so I don't even like using that example. But if you wanted more views and you saw that these 10 posts got the most views out of the last 100, what you'd want to do is whatever you did in those 10 posts, do them in all the next 100. And then after that one, look at the top 10% of that one and do the same thing in all the next 100. That's how you get better. And that's how you make more money. That's how you get in better shape. That's how you make better content. It applies to every single thing. The reason that people stay stuck in any domain, whether it's money or anything else, is they just keep doing the reps. They don't even look at what they could do better. They don't look at the top ones. They don't look at the bottom ones. They just keep doing the same thing over blindly, over and over again. And they wonder why they're not growing. And when it comes to like a med spa or an injector, in this case, it's like I've seen people, spoken to people who've worked with 10, 15 marketing companies, and they're like, oh, I just need to find the marketing company that's going to be like the right one. And it sounds bad to say it, but I'm trying to be I'm trying to be kind, not nice. Like I'm trying to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, which is that if you've worked with 20 marketing companies, most likely it's not a marketing company issue. Like the thing that you are trying to market is probably not compelling enough for people to want to buy it. So no amount of screaming from the rooftops about the thing that you sell is going to make people want to buy it. Fix the thing that you're marketing, and then it will be easy to market it. So it sounds like common sense, but I think people say common sense when they're trying to talk about, like, people don't actually mean it's an obvious thing. People just say common sense when they're talking about what I would do in that situation. But it's usually not common sense because everybody would do it if it was obvious. So yeah, common sense just means this is what I would do in that situation. I'm gonna call it common sense, but it's not common sense. It's just what I would do. But yeah, if you're working with a ton of marketing companies and you're not getting results, just look at the work. And if you haven't been improving your skill and like you don't stand out compared to other med spas, that's probably the reason why. And that's often why we'll disqualify people. So I'm going to cover a bunch of different things that um, get results for our clients because I want to break all the beliefs that somebody has around why they're not succeeding. So I've talked about the work being good, how it's an input output equation. What else is there? Oh, yeah, another big one. I talk about this all the time, but people just aren't calling their leads quick enough. Like I could say this a million times and that would still not be enough times to say it because it's so important and the difference it makes in your sales and your conversions, it's insane. Like if you look up the studies, like how many more leads convert when you call them in 60 seconds compared to waiting like a day or two, like most people do, it's insane. You make like 4 times as much money um, just by calling your leads in the first 60 seconds. It's so easy to say, but nobody does it. So think about all the things that you've tried to do, like new website, hiring new people, new location, rebranding, like just so many things that you just put attention into that literally make you no money. And this one thing, which is just call your leads immediately, that could 4x your business. So like, why would you do any other thing? There's people who think that all right, I want to double my business. If I do 10 different things that each give me a 10% boost, then I'm making it more likely that that outcome happens. But in business, there's often situations where you have a list of 10 things that you could do, but number one on that list will get you the 2x that you want. It will double your business. So why even bother with anything else? It's just a distraction. And this is one of these things is the speed to lead. I mean, 10 out of 10 times that I talk to a med spa owner and ask them what their speed to lead is, well, first of all, they don't know it because they don't track it, which I understand. Like you do other things in the day. Your job is not to call your leads and just sit on the phone and wait for a new lead to come in and call them. So like I get why this is not a thing that you care that much about. But if you knew how much your sales would increase by making this a priority, like you would be obsessed with it like I am because this is what accounts for most of the results that our clients get, and almost nobody even talks about it. So when I talk to med spa owners and they say that, oh, our ads are good, we're getting leads, they're clicking, but they're not converting, the first thing I'll ask them is like, okay, how quickly do you call those leads? Because if the ads are fine, we don't need to change anything there. And when I ask them how quickly they call the leads, most of the time they don't know. So it's probably too slow if you're not tracking it because whatever you measure, you probably care about. But if they do have some rough idea, it's usually not even close to as quick as it needs to be. So I want to give you some more context. The med spa industry, it's growing rapidly, and some people think that it's saturated. I actually don't think it's even close to being saturated because the demand for like wanting to look younger and wanting to look pretty and all those things, like it's an endless line up and to the right. it's never going to go down. And there's still fewer, I think the demand, I think the supply of med spas is still way lower than the demand for like wanting to look younger, wanting to not age, wanting to be pretty, like all those things. So I don't even think it's close to being saturated. But I think there's so many missed opportunities people have in the med spas because they don't understand, like I was saying before, they're not seeing reality clearly. They don't understand the inputs and the outputs that are required to actually grow their business. So fundamentally, you have about 5 minutes before the lead who saw your ad forgets who you are. And this is because, like, think about it from just look at what you do on a daily basis, right? You go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, you're scrolling through reels, you don't remember the last 5 reels that you watched, right? So like you're calling your leads after 30 minutes or even a day later, and you're saying, hey, it's me from ABC Med Spa. You clicked on our thing about this, and they're like, what? From where? I don't remember. I'm not interested. Like, and you're thinking that they're just ghosting you or they're acting stupid, but like they genuinely forgot what they clicked on because there's so many other things. Like you are just one 30-second reel that is there in their feed for a moment in an infinite feed of endless doom scrolling. And so the highest leverage thing, assuming that your creatives are good and the offer is fine, the highest thing that you could do from a nurturing perspective for your leads is just get somebody, I don't care if this is us or you get your own assistant, to call your leads within the first, I'm going to say 5 minutes. We do it within 60 seconds whenever it's possible, but at least the first 5 minutes max. And I mean, do this every single day. Don't just do it on Monday through Friday. Do it Monday through Sunday because people still spend money on the weekends. So you might as well collect it. And if you're thinking that this is going to cost you money, I promise you, like, there's nothing that you've spent money on recently that was a better return than the return that you'll have just from doing this. Assuming your ads are good, that's a big assumption. Assuming your ads are fine, if you do this, you will make significantly more money. Call your leads within the first 5 minutes. Bonus points if it's within 60 seconds. All right, so the next point is on following up. And if you're like, oh, that's so obvious, I've heard about following up before. Yeah, most of the points I'm going to make are obvious, but nobody does them. So I'm still going to make them. Um, People just don't follow up with their leads. Like they try to call somebody once, they say, oh, these leads are shit. They're not answering, but like you call the lead once. If they showed interest in your service, they want to buy. So like at least call them 5 times or text them. At least have 5 total contact points, right? Call them, double dial them, try to text them again. And if you think, oh, I'm annoying these people, you'll annoy some people, but you'll also make more money. And so, do you want to not annoy people or do you want to make money? Like, what do you want more? Do you want to grow your business or do you not want to hurt certain people's feelings because you sent them a text that they didn't want to receive? It's a genuine question. Like, do I not want to annoy somebody with a text message or do I want to grow my business? Which of these do I value more? Some people actually value not annoying a lead with a text message more than growing their business. And if that's you, then just don't grow your business. But yeah, for us, we have leads who, I mean, the amount of follow-ups they get is, if you saw them, you would know that you could try harder. And it's so common that I see leads where we follow up with them 5 times, 7 times, 10 times, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I was just so busy, but thanks for following up with me. I'm gonna go ahead and book now." And we think we're being annoying, and of course, for some people, yeah, they're gonna get annoyed, but the downside compared to the upside, it's not even a question. Like you make so much more money by actually following up consistently with the lead. It's not even a question. And now with AI, you can make those so personalized. Like for example, if we have a call with a lead, first of all the notes get transcribed from that call because it's recorded. But our follow-ups can be personalized, right? So before, what we had to do before we had AI and the notes is we'd have to just send out a generic follow-up like, hey, do you still want to book that appointment? And it's kind of blasted to every single lead. But now that we have AI, we can say, like, we can have a specific call with somebody, and the follow up is going to say something like, hey, Mary, I'm just following up about your Botox appointment because I know that you wanted to get your forehead and 11s treated next Wednesday before that birthday party that you're having. Do you still want to book that? And so, like, it's so specific, and they just had a call with us, so they wouldn't even know that like they'd think it's us following up with them because like yeah, they just told us all those things on the call. And so the conversion rate when that follow up is personalized specifically to their exact goals and their exact schedule and what they spoke about on that call, it's just so much higher. I'm trying to think through all the major inputs that just essentially guarantee success because I know people don't talk about like if you do these things, like you will 100% get the outcome that you want. But there are a number of variables that if you get them all in place and you arrange the conditions the right way, like you will guarantee that you are successful in that domain. And it's completely possible when it comes to running ads too. I mean, the most important thing, if you take nothing else away from this, is that what you're showing in the marketing, right? How good your work is, that just trumps anything else, right? Because it doesn't matter how good you are at marketing. If the thing that you're trying to sell is just amazing and everybody wants it, they will buy it. It doesn't matter what targeting options you set, like how much you know about advertising. Like you can make a shit ad with bad copy. The creative is going to be good because the creative is the work, but everything else can be messed up and you will still get some results. Obviously, you want to make a good ad too, but like it's so it pales in comparison how insignificant everything else is. This doesn't even make sense, but I'm gonna leave it in. Um, Nothing else is as important as the work, basically. And then once you have that in place and the results look amazing, you need to call the leads ASAP, follow with them a bunch, and everything else other than that is like a little sprinkle on the top. Like you want to book them in for the nearest appointment because people are super excited when they're gonna have their appointment because they really wanted to get this thing done. But if you make them wait like weeks or months before actually getting that appointment done, they're just going to start losing the excitement, the anticipation for that appointment. And a lot of times they just, like, people just spend the money at that point. And then they cancel, they have second thoughts. So try to get them in the same week, right? While they're still super excited. And the show rate is going to be so much higher. Also, with the reminders about their appointment, you can also personalize them, like I was saying before with the follow ups. You can do the same thing with the reminders, so you can remind them about their specific treatment because AI can just read all the notes now. So it's like super good for the show rate improvement. And you get a deposit when you're booking the appointment, so that there's commitment, and that's pretty much it. Like they'll show up to the appointment, they'll pay you money, and you just keep repeating that. Running ads is really as simple as that. And so if your ads are not working, you're missing one of those pieces. I would start with how good the results are that you're showcasing. That will be the first thing. We also have our own creatives, by the way. So like we include our own creatives when we run ads for clients, but your profile still matters. Like your reviews still matter, your social media still matters. Even if we're using our own licensed creatives alongside yours, they're still going to click on your profile, right? So we can help you a little bit, but it's a team effort here. We're not doing all the work for you. And so, like I said, it's purely inputs and outputs, right? And people who think that there's magic to this and there's some kind of secret and that their market is special, they're just missing reality. Like you're not special. Your market is not unique. Your business is not unique. There's thousands of people who've ran ads and gotten them to work, and you're no different. They can work for you too. And when I say you're not unique, I don't mean it in a bad way that you're no different than anybody else and you don't stand out. I mean it in the best way possible, which is that you're not a special snowflake that is incapable of succeeding because of certain conditions that are working against you. Like other people have succeeded with much worse conditions, and you can do the same. And so I guess I could wrap this video up by saying if you have amazing results and your before and afters for your filler and your facial balancing and Botox content look amazing on your page, and you have social proof, and you think that your ads did not work, there's just something in the funnel, which is basically what happens from the point that somebody clicks on your ad to the moment that they're supposed to be in your treatment chair. There's something in that process that is just wrong that you haven't seen, that you're unaware of. It's like what I was saying before, you're seeing reality in a way that is just not complete. And so if you have that first part in place and you're still struggling with your ads, then we can probably help you because we do this all the time. And so if you want our help, there should be a link somewhere below in the description. And if you click it, you can see if it's a fit for you. You can book a call and hopefully we can help you scale.